Hi, Bahamas. Thank you for joining me. I hope you take the moment to share the video. Just a short update today concerning what's happening in our economy. Uh, for those of you who are unfamiliar with what's going on in Grand Bahama, last week Friday there was a protest march. There's more of a demand march for answers from the Grand Bahama Port Authority and from the Office of the Prime Minister. Please share the videos for me as you come on. Essentially, what happens is that the residents of Grand Bahama and the businesses on Grand Bahama is beginning to seek some answers. What I would like for most Bahamians to understand is that this is not exclusively a Grand Bahama issue. This is a Bahamas issue. As it stands right now, our country is in a fiscal crisis. We are facing some economic hardship unseen since the independence, even before independence, going all the way back to the Great Depression. We have inflation, job growth stagnation, where you have inflation and slow growth. And essentially, Grand Bahama, if Bahamians were to come to understand, is one of the few uh, beacons of light that's available for the Bahamian economy to have a sustained recovery. Darren Roll and others began this process about 2 weeks ago. And so essentially, I've joined in support of them, and I will begin to become more actively involved with it. I wanted to use this broadcast to invite you to begin by joining us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for on Grand Bahama. It is Dove Radio 103.7 FM. I am pretty sure I said 103.7 FM. And also on Facebook Live, you can look for Dove Radio. You can look for my profiles as well as Darren Cooper. I said Darren Roll. I'm mistaken. Sorry about that in the beginning. It's Darren Cooper and others who began this 2 weeks ago. And so if you please, just tomorrow at 11 a.m., we're going to begin to have a conversation on what is called the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement and the role it can play in the economic development and recovery of the Bahamas. During Darren Cooper's presentation of the demand letter to the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Mr. Ian Roll, the president, and Ms. Filcher Grant responded. Mr. Ian Roll took the position that people need to understand the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement to be able to competently bring questions and demands to them. We accept that challenge. At the same time, a response from Ms. Ginger Moxie, the Honorable Ginger Moxie at the Minister for Grand Bahama, also referred to the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, and the fact is that they will be essentially abiding by it, and they're responsible for the east and west of Grand Bahama and the Grand Bahama Port Authority for Freeport. I will begin to have a conversation with you tomorrow to begin to break down some small things of the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement all the way from its inception. And the mere fact that this is more than just an agreement, this is an actual trust, something between the citizens of the Bahamas, the licensees, and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And I will talk to you concerning some of the various defects that has occurred in this that is necessary for us to begin to take a look at and begin to fix our Bahamas. You know, consider Grand Bahama the life vest. Right now, the Bahamas is a ship that is sinking, and Grand Bahama is the life vest. And any Bahamians that want to simply take the position that we don't care about Grand Bahama, y'all solve your problem, the ship is sinking, and Grand Bahama is the life vest for all of us. So we must begin to recognize our role in advocacy for it to be corrected, not tomorrow, today. And so I want you to join me tomorrow online, Dove Radio, the Grand Bahama voice, and I think only gospel radio station, on Facebook, on YouTube, and streaming. We definitely will be streaming for those of you to join us. But many of you will be surprised. I know you heard a lot of talk across the internet and because the social media about what the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement is, about some extensions that's been given, and et cetera, et cetera. And the government has no has no ability to be involved with it. Absolutely garbage. And so if you join us tomorrow on Dove 10, did I say that right, Isa? Can you put the information there? And so if you could just join us tomorrow. I'm going to make sure the link is going to be under this video, and it'll definitely be on my page. You will be surprised at the opportunities that's available on Grand Bahama. I hear people talking about affordable housing. On Grand Bahama, you can actually have 103.7. You can actually have a quarter acre of land for under $25,000, $50,000 even for some areas on the water. You can build homes here for a fraction of what it costs to live on New Providence. Tomorrow, we're going to touch on the orange economy, the blue economy, the green economy, the knowledge economy, the conceptual economy, the digital economy, and the various different economic models that's available here for behemoths to become involved with. The next crop of millionaires will come from Grand Bahama, but we must get the perspective of the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the concessions that has been given to them since August of 1990. Now, we can go back to 1954 or 1955, whenever this agreement began the conversation, and begin to see what the conversation is. The name of the show tomorrow is Make It Make Sense. I should have this information in front of me, and I don't know why. Let me just look it up right there. Yes, Make It Make Sense with Darren Cooper at 11 a.m. on Dove station. You please like, follow the page on Facebook. And we're gonna have a conversation, but this is not our first conversation. This is the beginning of a wider conversation with myself, Darren Cooper, and all of those individuals that actually is involved in this new movement to bring answers to the Bahamas. This is not a Grand Bahama issue. This is a Bahamas issue. This is not a Freeport issue. This is not a Grand Bahama issue. This is a Bahamas issue, because we are the linchpin for the economic recovery. Go back to 2007, and here both individuals running for prime minister at that time said that there'll be no economic recovery of the Bahamas or the Grand Bahama. It was repeated in 2012. There will be no economic recovery without Grand Bahama. In 2017, it was said there will be no economic recovery of the Bahamas without Grand Bahama. And again, in 2021, it was repeated, there'll be no economic recovery without Grand Bahama. We will examine why this grand deception has continued to occur, knowing that the role that Grand Bahama can play in the economic recovery of the Bahamas, that we have not moved to happen. And you will come to understand the threat it plays to the power struggle. You'll come to understand that many of the things that individuals have been demanding has already been put in place through the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, and the only reason that you don't have it is because you have not demanded it. Tomorrow on Dove, and join me and Darren Cooper, and let's have a conversation. Look to the bottom of this for the link. Look on my pages for the link. Search for Darren Cooper. Search for C. Allen Johnson across the social media platform. Search for Dove across Dove. What I said was, yeah, Dove 103.7. I should know that, but because I listen mostly to digital information. Dove 103.7 on your dial on Grand Bahama and across social media. Conversation tomorrow at 11 a.m. Join us. I think your questions is, Issa, you can let me know this correct. 352-1111 is the call-in numbers. If not, it'll be shown on the page. It'll be shown on my page for you to be able to call in and ask your questions. If you have any questions now, you can send them to myself, C. Allen Johnson, or Darren Cooper across on his social media platform, and answer these questions as it's going to. We're going to accept the challenge that the Port Authority given us. We're going to have a conversation about the economic rebirth of Grand Bahama and the Bahamas. The rebirth of the Bahamas starts in Freeport. It starts on Grand Bahama. If you join us again, this is going to be a beautiful conversation. And if you have any of you sponsors out there that that really believe that this is the type of conversation that needs to happen in context, I ask you to reach out to Dove, reach out to Darren Cooper, reach out to Dove, and give them your support, because individuals like myself and others will not be able to come and bring the information. Those of you who have known, I've talked for well over a decade, and on very few occasions I've been challenged. I ask you to support us in this move towards a succinct conversation on what's now, what's new, and what next, not just for Grand Bahama, but the entire Bahamas. And we'll be able to compose some questions. And we're going to understand the questions we put to the Grand Bahama Port Authority was not the finite. We have a whole lot of questions, and it's going to be refined. We were seeking to get their attention. Now that they are listening, we will refine and define our questions as to what's now, what's new, and what's next, not just for Grand Bahama, for the wider Bahamas. Thank you for joining me right now. Please share the video, share the video, share the video, and tune in tomorrow, 11 o'clock. I don't care what you're doing. Short of debt, be there tomorrow at 11 o'clock on social media. If you're on Grand Bahama, call a friend, tell a friend, family, friends, lovers, whatever, whoever it is, call them and tell them, join us and see the flames, the fire, the igniting of a conversation that's long overdue, decades in the making, for us to begin to reclaim ownership of our country, beginning on Grand Bahama. Thank you so much, Bahamas. Share the video, share the video, share the video. Look to the bottom for the links for tomorrow. Look for the page that you just like and follow the page right now. Sponsors, I think you can call the same number, 352-1111. Isa Valdez, just call her and tell her you want to sponsor the show. Even if it's not tomorrow's show, make a donation. And then tell them you want to make sure. But the best way to understand what you're going to be sponsoring, tune in tomorrow to see and hear for yourself. And we look for your support in having a continuous conversation, whether it be the once a week or move to maybe twice a week. But we can't do it without your support. Grand Bahama, we are standing up. We ask you to join us, and we can stand together. Thank you once again. Join us tomorrow. Share the video, share the video, share the video.